Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome. How you doing? Let me know that you're in the house, that you're here and ready to get things going. Because tonight we're going to talk about debt snowball for the pros. We're going to be, analyzing and comparing velocity banking results against debt snowball results, debt snowball against velocity banking. Let's get this, let's clear the air, right? Let's handle some misconceptions in the industry. I definitely want to be very, very transparent when I'm explaining the differences between the two. So I'll be the first to just say that, when it comes to the two different concepts, right? Velocity banking, debt snowball, we know that debt snowball is very popular, right? So is debt avalanche. Velocity banking, not that popular, but has some substance, some grounding. It has an argument to be made. It's a very radical, untraditional approach to financial wellness, financial health, financial freedom, and prosperity, where debt snowball is very, very traditional, old school, makes sense from a practical perspective. It logically makes sense. It's real. So when I mean real, it's reliable. There's no doubting it, right? It is correct. Now, the only question is, how effective is it in the marketplace today, 2020? How effective is your financial plan? Another thing I'll say is that all financial concepts are correct, right? So you want to set your benchmark, right? When you're looking at all the information that's out there in the world, and just go into it like this, saying, hey, every financial concept I come across is correct. Now, the only question I should be asking is, which one is the most effective one for me? And then based on that decision, and with, research and education and learning and experience, you'll begin to see how effective that one particular strategy was. And you'll be able to reflect on your life and say, okay, I've been doing this concept, which the concept by itself without the human works. Add the human, how effective is it? Can it work, right? And that's where, I want to kind of set the stage here when we're looking at debt snowball, velocity banking, infinite banking, 10x, debt avalanche, any concept you come across on YouTube, okay? So that's what I want to do here, is I want to set the stage. And then what I want to do is obviously use numbers, use math. Math is everything when it comes to financial data, financial information. Is what's the math behind the concept. So just the concept alone, it works. Okay? If you do X, Y, and Z, it'll grow to X, Y, and Z and it'll be there. Yeah, great, it works. But now what does the math show behind it? Okay? So let me turn to class here. Let me see who's in the house. Let me refresh my computer here so I can see how many people are in the house. All right, we got like 40 plus people. Okay. Saturday evening. For the 40 people that are here, you decided not to go party tonight. That's cool. All right, you decided to save some guap. Nice. Hello to Jeff, Albert, Antonio, Rich, Marilyn, Chris, Taisha, hello, EA, and Ronald. Good evening, everyone. I think I missed someone. Don't know how to say your name. ISO. We'll call you ISO. She says hi there. Okay, great. All right, so let's take a look at this. Here's an example of an individual making $3,500 a month take-home net income, monthly income. Expenses, $2,800 a month. Total debt, $270,000. Of that 270, we got a $250,000 mortgage, a $20,000 car debt, 7% for 7 years, monthly payments $301.85. Okay, we have a personal unsecured line of credit for $15,000 at 10%, and a credit card with a 0% offer, $15K, 0% on balance transfers and purchases, 12 months, balance transfer fee 3%, just for the fee. So if I was to do nothing, continue to live my life, and just pay the monthly minimum payment on the car note, I'll be done, right? 7 years. I would have paid $5,355.70 in interest, all right? So if I was to do the debt snowball concept, what it says to do is you take your cash flow, right, money left over, and apply it towards your debts. And what I went ahead and did, because I never did this before, was I actually looked up the baby steps. I was like, what are the baby steps? Because I've never even looked at it. It never made any sense to me. But now I actually wrote it all out. I was like, all right, let's look at this thing. Let's actually break it down. Let's do debt snowball according to the 7 baby steps. And let's track it. Let's see, does this freaking thing make sense or what? All right, so let's do it. So right now, this is what we're trying to avoid, is the interest on the debt. No matter what strategy you do, $20,000 has to get paid to the institution. We understand that. It's just a matter of how fast and how much interest will I pay. So with debt snowball, if I was to take all the current cash flow, $700, I'll be done in about 22 months. I'll pay $1,326.18 in interest, okay? Here are the numbers. You can do it, put it in the Excel. There's really no debating that, right? That's clear. 22 months. Okay, great. In addition to that 22 months, if I go by the baby step, I first need to set up an emergency fund. So the emergency fund says $1,000. So let's say for this person, it takes them 1.5 months to accumulate $1,000. Great. So we got 1.5 months plus 22 months to pay off all the debt except for the property, because according to the baby steps, step 6 is pay off your home early. Okay? So step 2 says pay off all debt, but when I was doing more research, it's pay off all debt except for the house. Okay, so the house is step 6. So we're going to put that off to the side. Step 3, right after I pay off all debt except for the mortgage, got my emergency fund, $1,000, 22 months to get out of the car debt. And then step 3 is 3 to 6 months to have enough money for expenses. So they say 3 to 6 months of expenses. So that would be, if the car is paid off, then $2,498.15. Try to have 3 to 6 months worth of that number, right? To last you 3 to 6 months. Let me see if I'm doing that. I'm saying that right. I confused myself. So 24,998.15 times 6 months. So that's $14,988.90. So I would need to have, say, $15K would be 6 months worth of expenses in this particular situation. How long would it take me to accumulate $15,000? Well, if my new cash flow after I pay off the car is, $1,001.85, 15 months, right? Okay, that's easy. So you would have, at max, you'd have 22 months plus the 1.5 for step 1, right? The baby step number 1. And then 15 months. So it would take you 38.5 months max before you get to step 4, on the baby step. Damn, that's kind of long, right? I wonder why people quit Debt Snowball after so long and then they come over to this channel or some other channels. So 38.5 months and you still don't have the mortgage paid off yet. It'd take you 3.2 years just to do baby step 1, 2, 3, and you're not even at 4 yet. So you're not even halfway there. 3 years. Damn. What if you went with like 3 months worth? Let's see. 24, 9, 8, 15 times 3 months, that's 7,494.45 divided by 1,000, that's, 7.5 months. So 7.5 months plus 1.5 plus 22 puts me at 31 months. So I wrote 30 months minimum to get to step 4, or 38 if you went for the 6 months of expenses. Make sense? Any questions? Let me know. Comment. All right? That's what we're looking at. Now, before we go any further, let's take a look at what velocity banking can do in that same amount of time or less. Okay? Let's take a look. See if this thing freaking makes sense, right? Velocity banking. It seems like because my channel is getting a little bit bigger now, we broke 10K, we're at 1 million views. I got a lot of videos out there that are performing really well, getting a lot of hate, getting a lot of people saying, yo, this concept is stupid, it doesn't work, that velocity banking is a scammo. Well, let's just do the math. Let's do the math, right? Does it make sense? Okay. Velocity banking, personal line of credit, 15,000, right? What's 66% of 15,000? It's 9,900, okay? So, my first chunk, doing velocity banking, I could, option 1, take 9,900 from that line of credit and apply it towards the car. Now, we have something else here. Got a credit card. 15,000 is the credit limit. 0% for 12 months. I think I want to take advantage of that. Okay? So another option I can do, in addition to making a chunk from the line of credit, is I could just go ahead and say, okay, 20,000 minus 9,900 is 10,100 left on the car. I could do a balance transfer of 10,100 from the credit card, and I could pay off the car in 1 month. So you got 22, that's Snowball. So far, we got 1 month velocity banking. Okay? And I already know so the people that are gonna watch this, oh no, here we go. Here's the scammo part. But let's really identify this. Now we could agree that these two exist. Credit cards exist, personal line of credit exists. It's just a matter of how you use them, right? It's just a matter of how you use them. All right, so if I take 10,100 as a balance transfer, 3% is the cost of borrowing. So it would cost me $303 would be the cost of borrowing. So you would have 10,403 would be the balance. 10,403 times 1% would be your monthly payment. 1% of the balance. So your monthly payment on that credit card would be $104.03. Maybe it's like 120, 100, I don't know. But it's going to be somewhere around that number. 104.03. And that 104.03 is all principal on the 10,403 for the next 12 months, right? So if I pay off the car in 1 month, I would immediately have a cash flow gain of the 301.85, but I would net 200, right? Or less, right? 104, do 301.85, 301.85 minus 104.03. So you would net positive cash flow 197.82 in the first month. So that means your expenses go from 2,800 minus 197.82. My expenses go down to 2,602.18. Not bad. We're getting somewhere. Now, here's another option that I can do. Is I can also do a strategy with this company called Plastic, right? And I can go to Plastic and say, hey, got this credit card, 15K, 0% 12 months on purchases and balance transfers. So with Plastic, if I want to use 10,100 or more or less, I could run it as a purchase through Plastic. And let's just say that this credit card also has a 2% cash back on gas, food, dining, online purchases. So this would be, I would say it would run as an online purchase, right? So Plastic would pay the car company 10,100. Plastic is going to charge me 2.5% on 10,100. So it's actually less than the balance transfer fee by 0.5%. So 10,100 times 2.5%, it's $252. $252.50. Okay. Now, because it ran as a purchaso, right? A purchase, I get 2% cash backo. So 10,100 times 2%. So I would get cash back of 202. And then you could say that my borrowing cost for moving $10,100, $50. $50.50. So I can decrease potentially, right? If I do this right with Plastic, I could potentially bring my cost of borrowing from $303 down to $50.50 with that credit card. And then same thing, the payment, it would be a little bit less, right? Because it would actually be $10,150.50. You would actually pay this first, and then this would come later on your credit card. The cash back, it would come later, and then you can apply it. You can apply the 202 as a statement credit back to your balance, and then technically your net cost of borrowing be $50.50, right? And then now we have to solve for the 9,900, okay? So the difference, so we've got usage of the credit card, usage of the personal line of credit. This is velocity banking. I pay off the car in 1 month. The car is done. Now, it's just a matter of how do we pay these two things back doing velocity banking, and can I go faster than 22 months? That's all I have to do is beat 22 months. Actually, in fact, I need to beat 22 months plus 1.5, so 23.5 months because of the step 1 with Debt Snowball, right? So if I took 9,900 from 15 at 10%, my cost is $990 for 1 year. Then you have to divide that number by 365 days. So 990 divided by 365 is $2.71 a day. Okay? My question to you is, would you rather pay, let's see, 301.85, the interest on that, even when you make extra payments, yeah, let's see, you're probably looking at probably over $100 or so in interest on that payment each and every month. So would you rather pay that, or would you rather pay $271 and $50.50 a day? So there's obviously a savings, okay? So what did Velocity Banking do? Just so far, what did we do? Technically, all we did was debt consolidation, right? Oh no. Consolidate. How do you spell that? Consolidation. Oh no. I hope I spelled it right. Somebody confirm for me real quick. Yep. I did not go to college. My girlfriend did, but I didn't. I decided to be the entrepreneur. So forgive me. So cool, I spelled it right. Debt consolidation. That's what we did so far. Now, based on math, all I did was shift the 20 to lower interest or damn near nothing, right? So I'm paying, so on 10,100 of the 20, paying 0%, and I'm paying $100 or so per month towards that credit card for the next 12 months, okay? 0%. Then I shifted 9,900, and for each day that I owe 9,900, I'll pay $2.71 a day. So you could go ahead and say, all right, well, if I just stopped there, $2.71 times 30 days, I'll pay $81.30 in the first month. So I saved, let's see, 81.30 plus 50, 81.30 plus $50.50, $131.80. 131.80. So 5,355.70 minus 131.80. So I shifted $5,223.90. I prevented from paying that $5,355.70 to the car dealership, and I saved that personally, and it cost me $131.80 in the first month to do so if I went with plastic. If I went, the other way, just a regular balance transfer, 303 plus 81, maybe $400 would be my cost of borrowing. So it would be smarter to go with plastic. You type in plastic.com. I think I spelled their company right. So I know it's with a Q, yeah. Plastic.com, you sign up, and that's the thing. It's 2.5. You want to get a credit card with 0% for a period of time on purchases so that you can run it as a purchase, and then hopefully your credit card also comes with cashback rewards, and you can offset plastic's costs. And they even explain it on their website. They even break it down. So it's not a bad idea. But you got to have the right tools, right? And we got to have the right credit score and all that good stuff and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so before I go any further, let me answer some questions here. Let me see if anyone is asking questions relevant to the topic here. We got someone that says, Saturday night financial education. Love it. Someone said, Taylor says, finally got the line of credit. Terry, hello from Cali. Okay, hello from Toronto. Cool. Saeed says, I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel. I like the way you explain velocity banking. Thank you, sir. Claudia, hello. Velocity banking is by far the easiest, less stressful, and effective budget plan I have ever used. I love it. Love it. Let's see. Taylor says, hate means you're doing something right. I would agree with you. Jesus himself was hated by God knows how many people. And he was doing something right. As you can see the fruits of his results in today's world. You can see me as an example and many other people that are walking in Christ, getting the results because they're doing something right. Okay? Chris says, would bet the haters don't have enough credit to get a personal line of credit in order to do this properly. You are in the neighborhood. Yeah, you could be right on that. Could be right on that. There's the fear. There's the fear of using these banking products, right? Which is interesting to me because when I look at the baby steps, I have to use a bank to put my savings in a savings account with the bank, where I collect my income on a monthly basis has to go with the bank in what's called a checking accounto. So you got a checking account and a savings account doing Debt Snowball. So your money is with the bank, and then the bank is offering these products right here that are more effective than checking and savings account. But get this, what the bank does to these people right here is for the people that keep their money in savings and checking accounts is they go to people like me and you that are doing velocity banking, and they give us their money in the form of debt. Credit cards, personal line of credit, Heloc, loans, car loans, mortgages, student loans, personal loans, business loans, so on and so on. So the bank is using your money, which you think is safe with the bank, right? And they're giving it to us guys that we know how to actually flirt with the bank. We are on the other side. We're on the good side of the bank, right? There's a bad version of using banks, and then there's the good side, right? And there's the effective side. Both are correct, okay? It's just what's more effective, man? What's more effective? So check this out. Now, the bank's using their money to give us the money so that we can pay off the debts that they're trying to pay off faster. And then our credit goes up because doing so fastly. And, we start to really zoom way ahead of these baby steps, right? But, that's just a little insider I wanted to share with you. Denzel, just an FYI, my Discover card has a balance transfer feature that I can deposit it right into my checking account. No transfer fee at 4.99%. So when you're working with clients, this could be an option. 4.99% on a monthly basis. My credit union does the same exact thing for 2.99%. So what I've seen is credit unions are typically a little bit better than these major credit card companies when it comes to those types of features. So I get what you're saying, but it would be better to just be at zilch, zero, okay? And then he also said, okay, it also has a 0% for 12 months, but has a 3% fee. The 3% fee might actually be cheaper than the 4.99 on a monthly basis, even though you paid the 3% up front in advance. So we would want to look at that and see what makes the most sense. And again, doing plastic, I just might beat all those options altogether. Okay, let me see. See if anyone's got a question. I'm kind of looking for a question based on this. I don't want to lose anybody. So, Jesus said Dave Ramsey blocked you. For real? Damn. Wanted to jump on his podcast and be like, hey, Dave. Dave, let's just break the numbers down, right? You're Christian, I'm Christian, we're all Christian, okay? Let's break the numbers down. Let's, you want to talk scripture, I talk scripture. Listen, let's break the numbers down and see where we get, okay? That's all I got to say. So come back. We did debt consolidation so far. I move bad debt. Now I'm in a better position here. Now what we have to do is velocity banking, this is the process of paying off what we shifted. So for right now, the $10,150 and 50 cents, we're just going to pay the minimum monthly payment on that for the next 11 months. Month 12, we'll knock it out, okay? Over here, I now owe $9,900 on the line of credit, 10%. Here's what we do. All income goes in, expenses come out. What are the expenses? We're gonna go with the 2602 number. That's what will be coming out of the line of credit each and every month. And let's see how long it will take me to be done with that. So far, if I was doing that Snowball, I would have to wait 1.5 months before I actually even started on paying off the car, because I have to do emergency fund number one, step one. And then for 22 months, I'll pay off the car. So all I gotta do is beat, like I said, the 22 plus the 1.5. So 9,900 minus 3,500, right, brings the balance down to 64. Remember, you're getting charged this or somewhere around that number on a daily basis. So you add 2602.18, 9,218. It should be the balance and some change, obviously, because of whatever you paid in interest that first month. So 271 times 30 days. Let's times it by, say, let's do 9 months, 731. So at max, if it takes me a year to pay back the line of credit, which it won't, okay, and I'm gonna show you why. But if it takes me a year, I'm looking at $990 for sure. So that's the most that I'll pay on this 99. So when doing velocity banking, I will pay less than $990. I'm sure we can all agree on that. So I'm probably going to be in the neighborhood of maybe $500 to $600 in interest. All right. So I'll add it at the end. So 9,002.18 would be the balance at the end of the first month. Right? That would be the first month, the end of it. So I would have made that chunk, the move, all at the beginning of the month. The car's knocked out. I get the cash flow gain by the end of the month. All my income went in, expenses out, bomb. That's what it looks like. The following month, we do it again. Minus 3,500 income plus the 2602.18. So now I'm at 8104.36. Let's do it again. The second month. I'm at the third month now, 7206.54. I'm not adding interest just yet. Like I said, I'll do it at the end, just to be quicker. How I write this all out. Fourth month, now I'm at 6308.72. Do it again. Now I'm at 5,400. 1090. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. You know how I always say 6 to 9 month range to bring the line of credit to 0 or close to it. So minus 3,500 again, plus 2602.18. Now we're at 45. 1308. So that's month 6. Let's keep it going. Okay, 36. 1526. That's 7. Let's go one more time. Now I'm at 27. 1744. And here's where people get confused. The newbies, because they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So now I'm going to say technically, once I hit month 9, the line of credit would have been paid off. Now we're just using it to pay bills. And you're like, huh? It's the same money. So I'll still be in debt, right? A little bit less. But by month 9, it would have been paid off, and then the balance is going to come back up. It's just being used to pay bills, okay? Well, once I reach that point, I don't have to wait to hit 0 on the line of credit before I make my next chunk, right? So if I approach the beginning of month 9, my balance is 27.17 plus and 44 cents plus interest, right? The 271 times 30 days, right? And I'm overestimating on the interest now because the first month would be the most expensive month in terms of interest. Every month thereafter, the cost of borrowing will continue to drop by about maybe $5 to $8, almost $10 on this specific scenario here. So I'm using the first month just to overestimate, $81.30 times 8 months, $650. So we could say that the balance would be 3,000 flat, or maybe 3,200, right? So 650.40 plus 27, 7.44. The most it'll be is 33.67.84. In addition to this, and the credit card, right, paying that monthly on auto pay, here's what I did for baby step number 1 on Velocity Banking is, because I did not use all of the credit limit on the line of credit, right, I have space of about a good $5,000 in the first month on the line of credit. So 5,000, guess what? We're going to call that our emergency fund. Okay? 5,000. Also, I have another 5,000 or less on the credit card. So both of these tools are my emergency fund. It's the same exact thing as an emergency fund with Debt Snowball with the savings account. And you're like, no, it's not. And I'm saying, yes, it is. Because of my explanation earlier when I told you that the banks give me your money. So if you have money in a savings account, I'm using it to do velocity banking, infinite banking, and 10xing my income. Meanwhile, you're getting a measly 0.1%. Maybe you're getting 1%. Maybe you're getting 2%. It's nothing because inflation is 3%. But then you're like, wait a minute, Denzel. Aren't I getting charged interest on these debt tools? No, because I just shifted what? I just prevented all that interest. So that is my cushion. So I have more cushion than you do on Debt Snowball, right? So I got more cushion to work with. So technically, I'm not paying any interest for these first 8 to 9 months because I saved it by paying off the car in the first month. I saved the whole 5G, right? So that's my cushion. They don't have a cushion. Your cushion is losing value. 3% inflation, right? Taxes, blah, 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 all that. The cost of your dollar, the value of the dollar is continually decreasing every single day. It loses more and more of its purchasing power. Purchasing power. Meanwhile, I never lost my purchasing power. I'm ahead of the game by quite a bit. So, coming back over here, my balance on the line of credit is anywhere between $27,1744 and $33,6784 on the line of credit. Couple of things I can do here, guys. So there's some options that come to mind. Is, well, let's first take a look at what the balance would be on the credit card. So 10,150, 50 times 1%, 101.50. So 101.50 times 8 months is 812.04. Okay. So minus 812.04. That's 8 months. Paying the monthly minimum payment on the credit cardo. 812. So 10,150. 50 minus 812.04. 9,338.46. Okay, so 8 months from now, balance is at 9,338.46. Balance on the credit card. Balance on the line of credit is anywhere between 27 and the 3,300. Okay, I'm very close to zero. What I could potentially do is I've got 4 months before I have to pay this credit card off in full, right? Before it expires on the zero interest, right? So I could either, option one, keep doing velocity banking until I hit zero, which would probably bring me to the 10th month where you are now completely independent from the line of credit. Let me just make sure I'm talking mumbo jumbo here. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. So 27, 17, 44. Let's go another month minus income plus expenses. All right, month 9, it's at the 18. Okay, 18, 19, 62. All right. Let's do it again. 921.80. All right, so that's the 9th month, the 10th month. So I could keep doing velocity banking until I hit zero. So by month 10, 11, I'm at zero. I could do that. Another option that comes to mind is I could look at potentially using the credit card to run some bills through it to speed up the process on the line of credit. That's one idea that comes to mind. Another thing that comes to mind is I could look at obtaining another credit card. Maybe I can apply for another 0% offer on a credit card. I'm going to have a small window here that I can do something with. Either I can make a small chunk towards the property that they have, or just be patient, wait let this thing hit 0. When it does hit 0, here's where that snowball can become valuable. Is if I have a 0 balance on my line of credit. Okay, if I have a 0 balance on my line of credit and my only debt is the mortgage and then the shifted debt on the credit card. Let's say you're in a situation like this, and I've seen it before, and we have a small window where it's like, well, what do I do for the next month or two while I wait before this card expires in month 12? Is what I would say is once the line of credit hits 0, we could do debt snowball, where I take all my cash flow just for that maybe 1 or 2 months and put it towards the credit card that's at 0%. It would not make sense for me to borrow from the line of credit too early to then put it on the credit card, because this is at 0%. That $9,338.46 is at 0%. So let's just say for 1 month, we had a 1-month window where the line of credit is at 0, the credit card's about to expire. And my cash flow, 2602, right? Yeah, so 3,500 minus 2602.18. So my cash flow is 897.82. So let's just say for that month, 897.82 plus the payment, the monthly payment. Say $100 is the monthly payment. No, it's not. What did I say? I think I said like 10 something. Let me do 812.04 divided by 8 months. Yeah, 101. 101.50. So 897. So for 1 month, I do debt snowball. It comes into use a little bit. Minus 897.82 minus the monthly payment 101.50. Now my balance is 8,339.14 on the credit card. Let's say that's the balance by month 12. Okay? So the 12th month balance on the credit card is at 8,339.14. The line of credit has been at 0 since then, right, for a good month or maybe 2 months. So this balance could be less by the time I approach it, but conservatively speaking here's the balance. What's my next chunk? Okay, I could do a chunk of 8,339.14 towards the credit card to zero it out to prevent any interest from accruing. My cash flow would go up that monthly payment, the 101.50, and then this cycle would start over again. So I could chunk that 8,339.14 in month 12, right? And then I could say, all right, well, my personal line of credit was at 15K for 1 whole year. In the velocity banking world, that is grounds I'm eligible to increase that line of credit. So let's say I increased it to 20,000, just added another 5K. I only just paid off 20 with the car, right? So let's say I increased it to 20K. Well, with velocity banking, 66% of that number is 13,200. 13,200 minus 8,339.14 is $4,860.86. $4,860.86 could go towards the what, guys? The mortgage, right? Could go towards the mortgage. The balance when we started in the first month was at 250K. right? So here are some more numbers for you guys. If I have a mortgage, right, for $250,000 at 4%, my principal and interest payment on a 30-year mortgage would be $1,193.54. Okay? 30 years, 4%, $250K. Pretty simple. Now, on the mortgage with Velocity Banking, month 12, I could make an extra payment, right, of, let me see. Let me put it in my little spreadsheet here, calculator. I put it $4,860.86, right? So of my $13,200 chunk, I increased the line of credit to $20K by month 12 in this scenario. $8,339.14 goes to wipe out the credit card. Cash flow goes up $101.50, and then another $4,860.86 goes towards the mortgage in month 12. So $4,860.86. Okay. By doing that, I remove about 12 payments. So I move 1 year. I remove 1 year of payments off my mortgage. Understand that if I was doing Debt Snowball, I would still be paying off the car. Velocity Banking, the car got paid off in the first month. It took me 12 months to zero out the line of credit itself, right? No, less than 12 months to zero out the line of credit itself and pay off the credit card and make a chunk towards the mortgage. So if I'm in 2020, by December of 2020, I'm already making a chunk payment on this guy's mortgage. This is not bad at all. So before I go any further, any questions on that? Let me see if I have anyone. Let me scroll back up. Give me a minute. Okay, we got some good comments in here. Let me just say. Hello to Mel. Hello, Jesus. Hello, Donovan. How you guys doing? Donovan says paid off over $170,000 in debt over the past 1.5 years. This concept is solid. I would say, you know, that's pretty good. Let's see. Told you I talked about you on Dave Ramsey Facebook page and got administrative blocked. Oh, okay. So one of my subscribers got blocked on Dave Ramsey's page for uttering the words Velocity Banking, which is why I'm going to start creating content and I'm going to start titling it Debt Snowball 2.0, Debt Snowball for the pros, Debt Snowball, Debt Snowball, Debt Snowball. Hey, it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact concept. Debt Snowball, Velocity Banking. It's just one is more effective than the other. They're both correct. It's just one is more effective according to the math, okay? And you can't lie against math. You just can't, okay? Rafi says, I am new to Velocity Banking, about to start paying off $30,000 car loan using a Heloc. Hope I get it right. I hope you do. I would recommend getting a teacher, getting an instructor, getting a coach, getting a consultant that understands the Velocity Banking concept. If you want to choose me, description is below. You can sign up for any program and I'll work with you one-on-one. If not, hey, keep watching the videos. I hope it helps, you know, and you develop the fundamentals to implement this correctly and you do it right. The way you know you're doing it right is when you're beating Debt Snowball. So Debt Snowball is your benchmark against Velocity Banking. So our benchmark was 22 months. All we needed to do was beat 22 months. We beat it by 12, right? Something about 12 months we beat it by. And that's typically how it should be. You should be able to beat Debt Snowball you should be able to go at least 50% faster than Debt Snowball. That's what you should be able to do when you're doing velocity banking correctly. Jeff Harrison says, using plastic, do you pay the rest of the balance to them? What balance? When I shifted this 10,100, plastic is taking my credit card and they're paying what I tell them to pay, the car. So for doing that, plastic charges 2.5%. So they take their fee out of the credit card, and then now you have the credit card with the credit card company that you have the offer from. You now have a balance of $10,150. It'll be more. It'll be $10,100 plus $250 at first. But then when you get the cashback rewards of $202, comes back to you, knocks it down to $10,150, and then you make the monthly payment each and every month. Frank Fernandez says, Denzel, it would be great to have the balances we should be at during the months we are paying down to track if we are in line to pay off by the programmed date. Can you show how to do that? For you, Frank, I am pretty sure I already made a video for you on your numbers. So there's that, right? But like I always say, see, I'm a this kind of guy. I got to write it down. I got to write it down in notes when it comes to the numbers. If you want to use like a spreadsheet on the manifesto, on the masterclass, you can download that velocity banking calculator and put it all in and track it. So there's a spreadsheet option or there's the write it down option. Pick one, my friend. Make a decision. Go with it, okay? Let's see. Rich says, when I was using the personal line of credit with 10.5%, I would pay it off with the Discover card at 4.99, then continue with my velocity banking, pay off Discover in 3 to 4 months, then start over. Great, as long as it works. Happy. Gifted Hands Studio. Love your channel. Thanks for everything. I need to get on this velocity banking this year to start crushing my total 30K. Looking for some debt weapons. Let's see. John says, didn't help that I said that Dave Ramsey wasn't God and baby steps weren't the 10 commandments. Got a lot of hate comment before they blocked me. Yeah, you know, you're not going to get anywhere when you, what's that saying? You don't, something about the vinegar saying, you get more with sugar than you do with vinegar? Yeah, that. So you were giving them vinegar, man. That ain't good. Let's see. Anyone got questions here? Right, all right, okay. I have a scenario, Denzel. I have a first position Heloc with about 13,000 available. I have a personal line of credit with a zero balance, 25,000. I have a few more debts to tackle before I start really attacking the mortgage. Great, great, great. Should I use the personal line of credit to pay off the other debts while just paying the Heloc minimum, or make smaller chunks and use the Heloc? Interesting. Find out what you're paying per month in interest on that first position Heloc, because it might cost you less. Because if you have a first position Heloc, technically that's a debt tool, but you only have 13,000 available space in there. So I'm assuming it's a big Heloc balance, because you removed the mortgage and put it into a first position Heloc, right? So that was a move. What? That was a debt consolidation move, right? You went from amortized to simple interest Heloc. Bomb, right? But you also have a personal line of credit for 25K. Because it's a smaller amount, using the personal line of credit might do you more justice to pay off those smaller debts first and pay the minimum payment, monthly payment on the Heloc. And then once you've knocked out all those smaller debts using the PLOC, then we can discount the BLOC, go back to the Heloc, first position, and just, all income in, expenses out, all income in, expenses out, and then also use credit cards to your advantage to also shift more debt out of that. That might be a pretty cool strategy, but it's always important to run the numbers and use Debt Snowball as your benchmark. Make sure you're always ahead, okay? Okay. Oh, you have an interest-only Heloc. Well, that sucks, right? So if I have an interest-only Heloc, how do I want to do that? Yeah, it would be better to, I guess, use the personal line of credit. You're already getting killed on that first position Heloc. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting case there. But I think using the PLOC first, then eventually graduating into that first position Heloc. And this is why I don't really like first position Helocs up front in the beginning. What I like to do is start with the PLOC, the credit card, eventually graduate into a second position Heloc at a lower interest rate, and it's a lower credit limit, right? It's large, but not as large as a first position Heloc. Then you wipe out maybe 40–50% of the mortgage itself. So that means you've gotten ahead of all of the interest, and then turn the whole thing into a first position Heloc, and you would be paying basically nothing in interest on that first position Heloc. So you're getting, really beat up on a interest only Heloc, and the monthly payment's $600 a month, interest only. That really sucks. So, I don't know. I think I like using the line of credit better than the first position Heloc because you have the ability to chunk. With only 13K available space compared to how much is actually in debt on the Heloc, I probably wouldn't even want to use the thing, right? Because I would need to get the balance down. Okay. What's the difference between a first position and a second position Heloc? First position is just like a regular mortgage. It's just calculated simple interest if you get the proper one. You've got first position Helocs that are interest only payments, and then you have ones that are principal and interest payments. I like those a little bit better than the interest only ones. I want to know that I'm at least putting something towards principal. Then with the second position, it's a much smaller Heloc. So you'll still have your mortgage, and now you'll have a second mortgage technically, but it's called the Heloc, home equity line in the second position. Maybe you get a 40, 50, 100K Heloc, whatever it is, in the second position. It's collateralized against the equity that you have in there. They give you an interest rate. We do velocity banking. The interest rates are much lower, and the payment on a second position up against a first position is going to be much less because technically the line is smaller. It's a lot smaller. Let's see. Okay, Rich says I went from 5.4% on my original mortgage to 4.6 on the Heloc. So he was paying $800 a month in interest. Now he's paying $600 in interest, right? But again, nothing's going towards principal. So you can do the math on that and see how that works out. So yeah, remember, you did this. You debt consolidated, but you're saying that you have other debts, other smaller debts that are they might be beating you up. So with velocity banking and debt snowball, what they both align on is tackle the smaller debts first, and then, you tackle the bigger things, right? But it's interesting because I think with you, Rich, I think you have a policy as well. So maybe you're using a policy to advance. I mean, you probably have some good moves going on. So I'm not going against what you're saying, right? But you are asking me a question and I don't have all the data, so I'm just kind of spitballing ideas here. One or two of them might land. But if your system works, Mr. Rich, if your system works and you're beating that snowball, there's nothing to be mad about, right? Keep doing what you're doing, okay? Good questions, guys. Really love it. Love the engagement. Got 72 people in the house. Love it. I love the engagement. So coming back to this scenario here, let's take a look at Debt Snowball. According to Debt Snowball, if I go by the baby steps, it would take me roughly 30 to 38 months before I even get to step 4, okay? Now, velocity banking, the car is paid off in the first month. 12 months later, what I used to pay off the car is paid off, and I made a chunk towards my mortgage of 48, 60, 86. So instead of 360 payments, I'm down to 340 something payments. So I saved quite a bit on interest here. Yeah, so 12 months, yep. So I got 348 payments left, so I'm doing really good. So now with velocity banking, I'm actually starting to pay on the mortgage come 2021 of January. So over here, I would be all the way in 2022 before I even get on the mortgage. Now, here's what I found very interesting. Is step 4 says to take 15% of your household income and put it into a Roth IRA and pre-tax retirement. So 401k, 403b, mutual fund, right? These are the three-legged stool plan. I get it, right? Whatever. So 15% of my household income comes out to $6,300 a year is what I would be investing. So I'm investing 15% of my income 30 months from January 2020, let's just say. Where does that put me? Someone write it down. Someone comment. January 2020 and go 30 months out. What month am I in? That month, the car is done. So you'll have the same cash flow, right? 1,000. Velocity Banking has 1,000 in month 12 or 13, okay? 6,300 is telling you to put and invest in a Roth, some, whatever. And then step 5 says college funding. So I was just like, all right, say $100 a month, $1,200 a year. So we got $1,200 plus $6,300. When you add those two things, these are expenses, which means my cash flow goes down. So my cash flow is only going to be $376.85, right? Because you have to add, just take the 63 and the 12, add it, divide it by 12, you get a number. Take that number, add it to 2498.15, and then you see the leftover cash flow would be $376.85, right? So I put it in the mortgage calculator thing that if I was to do extra payments of $376.85 on top of that mortgage payment of $1,193.54, it would take me 19 years to pay off the home if I go the debt snowball way. So I got 19 years plus 30 months, I mean, how much faster did I really go on a 30-year mortgage, right? I didn't go that fast at all. So what I said was, well, I watch other YouTube channels and I see other debt snowball people like me, smaller channels, that are talking about their experience with debt snowball. Clearly, they're not doing step 4 and 5. There's no way that they're doing step 4 and 5 and having all this cash flow in the world to knock off their mortgage. Does that make sense? So what I said was, okay, if I used all of my cash flow, the $1,000 a month, then it would take me 13.9 years. There's no debating this. All you gotta do is make a mortgage acceleration, loan amortization calculator, anyone, pick one, put the mortgage balance, the interest rate, monthly payment, and write, extra payments of $1,000. You're gonna get 13.9 years with the numbers that I've displayed so far, right? So 13.9 years plus 30 months, what is that, right? 16, 17 plus years, okay? Well, with velocity banking, I have the power to turn 13.9 years down to about 5 to 7, right? And so let's kind of dive into that now. Let's see what that would look like. So we did a chunk there. So now this card is done. So I'll just erase this, right? This card is no longer being used. Couple of things that we can do here to accelerate the process of paying off a mortgage. That is, very, very interesting in terms of continuing to leverage debt to my advantage, right? So we could do something like this. Whatever, let me see, the balance on the line of credit would be $13,200, right? $13,200. Let's say we're in 2021 January, right? And I have to do velocity banking now. So let's say it takes me, I don't know, another 6 to 9 months to bring that down to 0. So by September of 2021, now I can do a full chunk payment of $13,200 towards the property itself. So I'm gonna put that in the calculator here and let's see what I get. See what I can get. $13,200. Cool. So I go from $348, now I'm down to $317 in payments, right? So here is my step in replacing step 4 and 5. Instead of investing money, which you really have to define what is investing. To me, when I invest, it's to multiply. When Dave Ramsey, Debt Snowball, Susie Orman, when they invest for growth. I don't like to invest for growth. It never made sense. I would rather save my money and grow it, right? Because it's secure, than invest for the growth. I want to invest to multiply. So I would rather 10x my income, right? So in combination of velocity banking, using a line of credit to pay off a mortgage early in about 5 to 7 years, to go even faster than the 5 to 7 years, or just secure the 5 to 7 year window period, is I can 10x my income. I can go from making $3,500 a month times 10, add the 0, what's that, $35K a month? Is that correct? Terrible at math, so forgive me. 3,500 times 10. Yeah, 35K. Smarter than I think. Cool. So 3,500, 35,000 a month. How do I get to that? Right? In addition to doing velocity banking, how do I get to 35K a month in income? Right? So my thought process before I do step 4 and 5 is I would rather 10x my activity income. I'd rather focus on ways of creating more money. Can I start a business? Can I serve people? Can I get a sales job? Can I, what can I do that I could create residual income? What is a skill I can learn? What is a job or career I can get that can 10x my income so I can put myself to have 10 times more cash flow? Go from 700, 1,000 a month in cash flow to 10,000 a month in cash flow. And I could probably pay off that property in like 2 or 3 years, right? And go even faster. So if I did that, in addition to chunking, right? Doing velocity banking, all money's going in, expenses out, you can set up a chunk of 13,200 to start a business, right? You can set up your marketing plan, your budget for the business, expenses, blah, 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 and you're off to the races. And I think the fastest way to kind of 10x would be to sell, right? Sell, market, share, create content, do what I'm doing, copy this type of lifestyle. Look up Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi. These are the big players. Ty Lopez. Like these guys are huge. And basically I would basically trump that, and then this baby step number 7 would actually come up like in step 4. Build wealth and give. Build wealth and give, according to the scripture, that should be first. Right? Give first, then receive. So that comes a little too late for me when I'm looking at the baby steps. Now the payoff home early, it just would take too long for me. How early am I paying it off? I saved 9 years? I'm probably 50 at that time. No way. So I could beat that by obviously doing velocity banking up in steps 1 and 2, right? And I'm able to skip this step of creating an emergency savings account because, again, this operates as my emergency and my savings. And in addition to that, at some point, we could transition those credit lines to start a infinite banking policy, right? We could transition and do that. That would be cool. Especially if I 10x my income, I gotta put the money somewhere. So the cash flow could go into a policy and grow at 4 to 6% tax-free. So here's what's going on now. Now I'm like, okay, hold on. We got velocity banking now, infinite banking, and 10x to basically skip these processes that just take too long, right? We are in a fast generation right now. Fast. I need it now, I need it now, I need it now, I can't wait, I need it now. I'm growing up in this generation. You are also being a part of this very, very fast world that we live in. So it would be nice if there was a financial strategy that could keep up with the times, right? It would be smart. So when you combine these different strategies, to go from 3,500 to 35,000 seems unreasonable at first. Trust me, I believed it too. But you would be very surprised how fast it can happen if you just follow some principal fundamental rules. One of them being giving. Okay? So I think that you should give first before you do anything. Okay? And when we're doing velocity banking, when I have clients that are givers or tithers, I say, okay, include the tithe in your expenses. Don't separate it. Include it in your expenses. Don't take it from the cash flow. So you would minus your cash flow. You apply it as an expense. Therefore, I can run what? Everything through the line of credit, right? Most churches now accept credit cards to tithe. You can even write it. You can write your credit card information on the giving envelope now. You can do that, right? So even the churches are, picking up with the times. So I think it's hilarious to me, honestly, when you get a guy like, Dave Ramsey goes into a church and says, get rid of your credit cards, chop it all up, right? But the envelope to tithe, you can put your credit card information right there. So I'm like, how do we make sense of that, right? So the churches are being transparent with you being able to use a credit card to do your tithe, and that's pretty cool because I can run my credit card, I can tithe with the card, and then pay myself back later in time so that I don't pay any interest. This way I keep the flow going of velocity banking. So I'm using the bank's money to do everything, and then I'm paying myself back with the bank. And then eventually we transition into infinite banking, where I do the same exact stuff that I laid out here with the bank's banking products, right? Their tools. And we establish our own tool, our own tax-free bank, and use it like a line of credit. So I can do my giving through the policy, I can do my tithes, I can run my expenses, I can run my escrow through a policy. I can do all that, right? And then just pay myself back over time, and the money will continue to grow, and I never lose that cash flow, I never lose that leverage. So this is putting me in a very good position. So one fundamental rule, give, right? And then once you figure out what you're going to sell or provide to the marketplace, I would create massive amount of content around what you're doing to attract, right? To attract attention. So Grant Cardone says that money likes attention. Money loves attention. There's a very famous scripture in the Bible that says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So if we say, all right, well, how do I, because this is where people in the church now, these people right here, right? I love talking to the people that are out of the church, right? That don't believe. It's just a lot simpler to talk with you guys, right? Sometimes our righteous thinking can get ahead of us. It really can. And I've faced this myself, thinking, how much money can I make before I become evil, right? These are the questions that I start to ponder on. I start to really, really think through. Like, okay, we have these different perspectives, right? And I'm sure someone can comment below and let me know if you struggle with this. You're trying to build a business and you're creating content and you receive like these different perspectives, right? Now, I know for me, when I read the Bible, it's very clear that God wants us to be prosperous and he wants us to flourish and he wants us to enrich us. He wants to give us wealth. So how can that be true? But then when I talk to people on this side and they say, oh, money's not everything. Money's not important. I don't need to make all this money and right? Money is evil. Well, let's make sure we're reading scripture right, because it says the love for money is the root of all evil. So as long as I don't, I should say, as long as I don't seek money more than like the knowledge behind it or what money can do for me, then I should be in line, right? So as long as money's not the intention, right? All I'm doing is attracting attention. When you attract attention, now money comes. What I do with the money will define the person. So when I attract the money, what am I doing with it? Am I giving? Am I being of service to people? Do I have a good, righteous heart on what I'm going to do with the money, right? Because this is where, because you'll trust me. Anybody that makes a lot of money, you get to a point where you're like, why am I making all this money? Why am I here? What's my purpose in life? What should I be doing? So the money is not fulfilling. We know that. But it's what the money can do for you to put you in a much better position to do step 7, build wealth and give. And if I can get to that in a very, very fast, at a very, very fast pace, then why wouldn't I do that? So let me turn it to some Q&A here, and let's see if anybody is, relating to the things that I'm saying here, because this is interesting, right? Because I think that's like my toughest obstacle when I'm talking to people on this side that are trapped in the baby steps. It's just so limiting to me. I feel trapped, I can't move my money around, I can't like multiply it. I gotta sit and wait and sit and wait and pray and sit and wait. But it's like when I'm doing velocity banking, I'm a little more free under the current system of how money works right now. If money worked differently, then there would be a different strategy, and I would figure out that strategy, and then, life moves on. Okay? Let me see. Let me get some questions here. Rich says, what mortgage calculator do you use? I have an HP, so I have Excel with Word, and it comes with a loan amortization schedule. If you're using a Mac, you have the numbers thing, and that has a mortgage calculator there. You have something called Carl's Mortgage Calculator, pretty popular. And then there's a bunch. They're all the same. They're going to give you the same numbers. They're all the same. It's just some are more friendly, user-friendly than others. So that's my answer. So Rich says, I do most freehand and just a regular calculator. I understand better writing it down. Me too. They say that when you write things down, you retain the information much better. So I do that. It does not take a lot of time to really do that. So N. Napier says, if you're doing paycheck parking, why would interest-only Helocs be a bad thing? The cash flow still stays in the same as a principal plus interest payment would. It's primarily due to people's income. So I would say this. If someone's making $10,000 a month or higher, yeah, interest-only Helocs are pretty cool. They could work, right? And obviously you would have a lot more money going towards principal. But another thing is you have to understand with the interest-only Heloc, when you make the payment, the interest has already been calculated for that month. So you're going to pay that interest first, then principal. Whereas if I had a principal plus interest Heloc, then when I paid on the 1st or on the 15th or the 30th, I'll have a difference in terms of the interest that I pay. So there's that. And then I personally feel like I feel like I still have more flexibility with second position Helocs than I do with first position. You have to understand that when you do a first position Heloc, you are moving a massive debt. You're doing debt consolidation. So all I'm saying is, like, when you do a first position Heloc with an interest only payment, I think there's a different strategy with interest only Helocs, right? I think interest only Helocs are perfect for people who are collecting just the like just cash flow, like they're collecting rents. Like I have a gentleman that has Helocs that are interest only, and since the payment's so low, you know, 500, 600, 700 bucks, and they're collecting rent 1,500, 2,000, their intention is not to actually pay off the property. Because if you have an interest-only Heloc, that will expire at a certain time period, I believe. Someone can correct me on this. That 20 years, I think, what is it, a balloon payment? You'll owe it all at once or something like that. I think that's how that works. So there's that you have to think about. But it's also this. It's the way the person's numbers are set up. Because I've seen people, I have clients that were with Replace Your Mortgage, where they replaced their entire mortgage with a first position Heloc, but they're only making 3, 4, 5 grand a month. They live in California, so now they got this 400, 500,000 first position Heloc, and their cash flow is getting lost in the numbers. So I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Whereas I like the process of starting small. Personal line of credit, credit card. Get rid of all the debts first. Then graduate, second position Heloc. Then go first position once you've gotten ahead of all that interest. So when I get a first position Heloc, I'm not gonna have like a $600 interest only payment. My payment's gonna be damn near nothing because I've gotten ahead of all that first mortgage interest in the first place. I got ahead of all of it, and I have an interest and principal payment. And so now I have more of my income working for me. I think my income works better for me with a first position Heloc that has principal and interest. So that's like my final answer, and I'm gonna go with that because I believe that the Heloc cost of interest is upfront on those payments, whereas principal and interest, it needs time to accrue. So I think that's going to be the difference there. Let's see. Rich says, I agree, but I understand what Denzel is saying. If one is not disciplined, you can get in trouble never paying down your mortgage if you stop doing velocity banking. Yep. Chris Fisher says, doesn't interest-only Helocs cost more in interest up front? I think so, Chris. So, but like I said, if the numbers make sense, then go ahead and do that. But I think when the numbers are too low, like if your income's too low and cash flow's too, it might not make sense. I've seen it not make sense, which is why I'm like, I'm not like happy about it. We're really not able to do much. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? Would like to hear Denzel's point of view on this, question mark. Well, okay, so I just answered that, Mr. N. Yep, so that was my thing. Terrence, it is the love of money that is the root of all evil. As such, if you use money as the tool that is, you can make as much as you will. Yeah. It is all about the heart. What are you doing with your money? Yeah. That's what it is. You know, what are you doing with your money? Are you giving it to Joe Schmo to, you know, have it grow for so many years, and then by the time you're 59 and a half, got the gray hairs, the back is hurting, you may have gotten a hip replacement by then, the knees are burning out at this point, right? There's no what's it called? The G word, right? That's gone. right? The elbows are cracking. Everything's just breaking down. Damn, I never got to use the money. Putting 15% of my household income, to Joe Schmo, where I can never access the money. If I do want to access the money, I get dinged. I got to take a loan. I got to, charge myself interest, and hopefully it offsets with the growth, right? Because you guys are putting money in growth. I want to multiply, right? Multiply. Dude. If all I did was multiplied one time, if I 10x'd one time, I will beat you in like 5 years. So whatever your 15% is, I'll do that, right? That 15% over 30 years, I can do that in about 3 if I'm making $35K a month and cash flowing 15,000, half of that, 15%. When it comes to the college funding, that's dumb. Because the cost of college versus what you're putting into that college fund, oh my God, it ain't gonna perform. It really isn't, right? So that's beating you up. I had a guy that was putting in $3,600 a year into a college funding plan. And I'm like, well, what is that gonna do? By the time your daughter at 8 years old, your son who's 4, by the time he's 18, it'll cost on average $100,000 just to get a bachelor's, okay? That's what it'll look like, a decade from now. That's what it's looking like now, right? It's bad. It's really, really bad. So I would rather you 10x, right? And then once you 10x, you save 40% of your income. That's a lot more than 15. So I would save 40% of what you make on the 10x of what you bring in. Put that in your IBC, right? You max it out as much as you can with IBC. Whatever you can't max out after that, maybe we put it in, oh, for sure, we get us some real estate, right? Real estate, gold, silver, right? And then business, having a business, for sure, for sure. So the IBC can fund these things, and then my income just, it just comes right back and it replenishes it. This way I never lose the money. So when I talk to people on this side, I ask them the question, hey, can you use $1 more than once? Can you use $1 more than once? Comment below, yes or no, okay? With Velocity Banking, Infinite Banking, 10x, man, I can use $1 10 times over. That Snowball, you can only use $1 once, right? But the way money works right now, we can use money way more than once, okay? I think I've been going a while now. What am I at? An hour and 40 minutes. Oh my God. All right, let me finish up here. I hope this was a lot of value to you guys. 2020, man, I'm going nuts. Been going live for the past 3 days now. I'm gonna go live again tomorrow on Sunday, on God's day, right? On Sabbath day. The Lord lifted the Sabbath, so therefore I could work, right? I could work. Now, it's still important to rest, right? Yes, you want to rest in the finished works of Jesus Christ, but you do not have to be bound by the Sabbath, no longer. You don't have to be bound by it. Very interesting. There's so many things that are interesting when it comes to the interpretation of Bible, money, God, religion, different concepts. I'm loving it, guys. I don't know about you, but I just love challenging different concepts. Like, does it really work? Does it really work? Let's see. All right, Jeff Harrison. I think when you reach financial freedom, you would stop worrying about loving money, and then your focus turns to giving and living life to the fullest. The main reason would be you have all the principles in action. Velocity Banking, Infinite Banking, 10x, Kingdom Authority. Yes, sir. Dungeon Music. Hey Denzel, what are your thoughts of a mortgage recast to lower your monthly mortgage payment while doing velocity banking? It may or may not work. So recast, I'm assuming that's like a version of refinance, because I don't really know all about recasting. So you're gonna have to explain that one to me. Anyone getting close to 55 and have a large sum of cash in a 401k, look up the 55T rule. What's that? Lets you leave your job and able to collect from it penalty free. It has to be your current job's 401k. Very interesting. I know about the 72T rule, where you can pull money out of your 401k without the penalty. You would still pay income tax, but you don't pay the penalty through the required minimum distribution. So that's a rule that I do know of, but I don't know about the 55T rule. That is pretty cool. In essence, I believe that by increasing your cash flow while paying down the mortgage, that a mortgage recast is a valuable tool and costs so much less than a refinance. Okay. So it's not the same to a refinance. So this is something that I'll look up. Recast. I got to look that up. I think I've only had one client talk about it to me before in the past, but I'll have to look at that up. Jason says to recast, you should have a sizable payment. Mr. N. Napier says, you're doing great things, Denzel. You have made velocity banking easier to understand. I'm coming up on 1 year of velocity banking. I've paid off all my consumer debt and now halfway through my mortgage. Thanks. That is freaking cool, man. Love it. That's awesome. Okay, keep going. And remember, if you are not in the position to do velocity banking, do debt snowball. You can disregard the last 5 baby steps, but I would definitely maybe take a look at the first 2. Okay, so you could just do extra payments to pay off your debts, and that would build your credit score, right? Investing in credit repair so that you can get access to these debt tools at some point. That would be smart. Then once you're in a position to do velocity banking, you get things going. I would say typically you either are going to start with a credit card, a line of credit, a Heloc, or a high cash value life insurance policy. One of the 4. However which way you do it, the focus is pay off all debt. Get the cash flow up, build your capital. Then we want to look into 10xing our income. So before you invest money with Joe Schmo and lock your money up forever till you're 59 and a half, I would say, hey, let's redirect that money back to us again and think about 10xing our income. And then we can invest money. But see, now when you invest, you're investing for multiplication. So when I put $1 into an investment, I expect to get $2 back, not $1.08, not $1.10. That whole compound interest crap would only apply with big numbers. But in the beginning, oh my God, it takes so long. And then you got to do the rule of 72. You know, oh, the rule of 72. Oh man, 7 years, 10 years. I would rather 10x in 1 to 2 years and then take 40% of that 10x and put it in a growth account, maybe infinite banking or something else. And now compound interest looks really sweet. Now the rule of 72 looks really funny now. Now it looks a lot better. You know, we're talking 3-4 years that my money is doubling. And then when it comes to investing money, if I put $1 in, I want 2 back. I want 100% return. How do I do that? By investing in business, your own business, right? keep producing activity. Then you got gold and silver, so you get to actually retain the value of your dollar. And then real estate is just, that's impenetrable. That's indestructible wealth, what Grant Cardone says. However you do it, whether it's single family, multifamily real estate, vacant land, commercial real estate, however you do it, obtain real estate. That is like that's a fundamental thing. God even said it himself in Genesis, have dominion over the earth. That's land. That's real estate. Dominion is real estate. Land, authority, right? Ownership. So you want to own you some land and create some nice cash flow. All right. So I think that's everything. I think this is good. I think we're good. You guys have a wonderful night. God bless. You guys stayed up nice and late. If you're going to church in the morning, you're probably going to have one eye open because you've been, listening to me all night. So, get some good rest, and we shall talk soon. Have a wonderful evening. God bless.